So that, that was just a weird thing for me to do. It took me a while to get my head around it.
The base maps are built-in views, and so like your settings for the OpenLayers map type,
Yes.
is that automatically aware of all OpenLayers data displays that have been created? How are those linked? So you click the little gear.
Yep. So you choose style is the OpenLayers map,
right,
as opposed to being a grid or a table.
Right.
You click the settings for that, and yeah, every single preset that you set up.
It should show there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm doing something wrong. Thanks.
So I said before, this is all using CTools in Drupal 6. I don't know quite how that's going to be in Drupal 7 because so much of that's gone into core. It's all exportables, so it has built-in feature support. One weird thing in features is there's three different types of exportables in OpenLayers: the presets, the styles, and the layers, I guess. Views. And views. I mean, views are just the views, so they show up under the view settings. But the presets, the styles, and the layers all show up under the same heading. I wonder if I can actually show you that. Anyway, so it's just a weird display bug, and I tried to fix it, but just in features I can. Is everybody here familiar with features? Anybody not familiar with features? Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just a great way to put all your configuration into code. Yeah, so if you look under Edit Components, OpenLayers shows up 3 times. Yeah.
But there's different things in each one.
There's different things in each one.
And
so
you need them all.
And you need them all. I couldn't figure it out. Like I just was digging through features and just couldn't quite, something to do with the way the database table are named. Yeah, so out of the box, it limits the amount of custom JavaScript you have to write, but if you do want to write your own, you can just copy an existing behavior and go from there. Just to show you briefly how they look, without scaring anybody too much, but this is what a preset looks like in code. You can probably recognize a lot of the stuff that we just saw earlier in the configuration, like the projection, the width, the height, titles, so on and so forth. Here's what a layer type looks like. It's pretty much object-oriented, so you can extend that if you want to create your own base layers in kind of crazy ways. And this is what the JavaScript looks like. Familiar if you've written much JavaScript behaviors. Well, not too long. Yeah, when Alan put together this presentation, I think he was just really excited that he found a great syntax highlighter for jQuery. So going on to some of the related modules I've mentioned, there's geotaxonomy, which is a way to have like different layers based on taxonomy or different markers based on taxonomy. I remember the GMap module in Drupal did something very similar, which was awesome. This is a way to do it here as well. And this is a way to group together things to have like your different size dots showing up on the map when there's many instances of something. OpenLayers geocoder was the one I talked about, which lets you, when you're adding content to a site, you just type in the address or the landmark, and it will automatically geocode that if it can. It uses Google Maps API, so it has coverage in some countries and not others. The guys that wrote that are really open for help, so if you want to make it so it can plug into a different geocoder, there are other geocoders available. OpenLayers Proximity does the views integration for doing what's nearby. And Mapbox is a project of DevC to put a lot of work into OpenLayers and the mapping space generally in Drupal. The Mapbox module gives you a bunch of really nice icons out of the box. And they have a whole other suite of tools. If you want to create your own map tiles, they have a way of spinning up an Amazon server and like chopping up images and using the data from OpenStreetMap, because underneath OpenStreetMap is all the data. And you can take that and you can render it in your own custom colors, or say, I only care about bike paths, don't show me any highways, or vice versa, or whatever. So you can make your own completely custom maps and completely custom colors. And they give you some tools for doing that. we've got some time at the end and people are interested and haven't seen it, I can show you some of those examples. They've done some really nice maps of Afghanistan and
Haiti.
Yeah, they're doing amazing work.
And Iraq, funnily enough. Does it not handle Yahoo as well?
Yep,
The
Yahoo's a base
geocode?
layer in there. Oh, it doesn't use the geocoder just because the guy that wrote the module just
Right.
did it quickly and easily.
Uh-huh.
But there's no reason it couldn't.
Because managing news handles Yahoo geolocator or geocoder,
Really?
I think. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Anyway.
Right now it's in alpha 12 or 13. I use it on some side projects. We're using it as a gap when that launches in January. It's used all over the place by development seed. Close to beta. It's been close to beta for a while though. And I think they're pretty much just waiting for it to stabilize in Drupal 6 before they start the Drupal 7 migration. Well, actually they started the Drupal 7 migration already for it, so I think that'll happen pretty quickly.
Do they have a pledge for that?
No, I don't know. They'll get it done. I don't know if they took the pledge. If you're interested in getting involved, just like going through the documentation on Drupal.org and trying to install it, and then just submitting patches or fixes when you get stuck, or even just telling people where it is that you get stuck so we can improve that documentation. Patches if you can patch, just leaving feedback on how it all works, and that's all fantastic. There is an IRC room, #Drupal-geo, which is not just the OpenLayers, there's the geo module out there, which is more of a trying to do Drupal as an actual GIS server. There's some people who are into the GMap module and the location are in there as well. So there's a location and mapping group on groups.drupal.org. These are some of the people that have been involved.
The jQuery presentation, what you use to do the presentation?
Yep. Yeah, it's really nice. The only weird thing is that usually your screen gets resized from what you thought it was going to be, and then you've got scroll bars. So, any more questions? Anyone want to look at some examples, or?
Sure.
Yeah. Here, I'll show you mine. So this is one of my side projects. So just very, very simple. It took me, the whole website took me a day to build, and the maps integration took me 30 minutes or something. It's just super easy to set up something dead straightforward. I should create some nicer icons, but I'm too lazy. Mapbox, so if we look at the data, so they're using Tiger census data. Actually tells the more interesting part. Really beautiful DC by night map, just using the OpenStreetMap data but rendering it a completely different way. Afghanistan. Actually, the really cool thing they've done recently is these world glass tiles. So these are transparent tiles, and you can just slip in another layer. You choose what color you want to be the background, and suddenly you've got a bright pink map of the world, or whatever, green. Pakistan, Afghanistan, different colors, Haiti, earthquake overlay.
Can you overlay weather?
You could. I don't know quite exactly how you do it. It's not built in, certainly. I don't know quite where you get the weather. Yeah, if you've got a KML file, it's just it'd be a case of finding a nice way to have the numbers or the graphics show up. Some tools, the tile mill, if you want to create your own map tiles and AMI. They've got this thing of maps on a stick. I've not had a chance to try it, but it's basically you can put all the map tiles onto a USB stick so that when you're doing some mapping project in Africa with no internet connection, you can still have dynamic maps on your computer as you're entering data. Really cool.
Have you done much with managing news?
I haven't, no. But from what I've seen of people who are using it,
They're big about the portability. They also have, I think they have a SMS on a stick so that you can actually have your own SMS system for texting. That so you can have it when you're out in the boonies like that.
it's cool. Yeah, I know they've been doing some stuff with Zahidi here all about the disaster management.
Yeah.
Any other questions or things like general topics of discussion? I've got 2 minutes.
How do you see the geo module perhaps integrating with this?
The geo module used to integrate back in version 1 of OpenLayers. You know, the OpenLayers map was just a way of entering data. And then in 2, for some reason, they broke that support. I don't know quite why. I mean, Geo is an incredibly ambitious module. It's trying to do proper spatial queries and complex data manipulation, and to have, to go beyond MySQL, but actually using a database system that can handle spatial a bit better. Vox here is the person who's leading on that project, but they don't have enough clients that really care about it and are willing to put the money in. So if you are ever trying to do something, she's a great person to speak to about that level of work.
Do you know of anything that does elevation as well? Maybe not in the rendering, but in the coordinate system.
I don't. I think there is some API out there that will give you the altitude of a location. One of the OpenLayers base layers, the bike map that you can use through this has, it has contours. Yeah, it has
Shading, I think.
Yeah, it has shading and contours to show you altitude change. But that's the only implementation I know of. But there's a lot of stuff out there, so there may be another service.
One of the ones I noticed, the sources of maps or layers, was that this doesn't have, that Drupal OpenLayers doesn't have, is the NASA data set.
Yeah, if it's got an API, then I would assume it
it's
could be
just not.
pulled in, but I don't think OpenLayers.
Is it called Northwind or something, or something? Is it Northwind? I'm not sure. It's I just saw it on the wiki page on OpenLayers, and it was the OpenLayer wiki page and on Wikipedia, sorry, and it just listed, but then on the Drupal.org OpenLayers module, it didn't list that data set.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if OpenLayers implements it, then it shouldn't be too big of a deal to
Right.
pull that in.
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, it's really cool. Thank you.